Welcome back to VCC OCE Season 4. I'm Void and I'm here joined today with my co-caster Cruz. Cruz, how are you feeling about the game ahead between Team 3 Grace and Redline?
I'm very excited. This is an elimination game. So loser of this series is going to be eliminated from the tournament altogether and will be unable to qualify for playoffs. So this is a pretty high stakes game here. I believe that yeah, I'm pretty sure that we start on Ascent. So I'm not 100% sure as to who's completely stronger on this map and who might be a little bit weaker. But I'm pretty excited to see if this is going to be close or more of a blowout, as what we saw in our game prior to, like a little bit earlier today, between Riyadh and Yenis going up.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be a pretty chaotic game. Both teams are pretty good. Do you have any sort of predictions of who might win?
I've got to put my predictions towards Redline. I feel like they're probably a little bit more composed as a team, because Team Three Graces does have a sub or two, so they may not be overly as coordinated as Redline may be. So I think that could influence today's outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I also think that as well. Like with the substitutes does come with unpredictable variables. So, I mean, who knows? T3G could just come in with a swoop.
Yeah. So I think going into this, I think we should be heading into the agent select in just a moment. I
Yep.
believe that yeah, no. So we're gonna have our first two maps are going to be Ascent Lotus, and our decider today will be Haven. Um, so I just a moment. There's been a little bit of an issue in the lobby, so it might take a second to actually get to agent select. Do you have any kind of guesses as to what the compositions may be, Void, going into Ascent here?
Um, I think if I remember correctly, T3G ran 1 second. I can just get it back up, but on Ascent, right? Last time they ran Omen and like they did pretty good smokes and initiators. I think they did pretty classic lineup.
Mm.
So honestly, I won't be too surprised if it's just like the default setup and like lineup. But I haven't really seen Redline's game style, so maybe they'll pull out some unpredictable stuff. But yeah, we'll
So
see.
we have on the side of Team Three Graces, we have Viceroy, who, as the name speaks, infamously pretty much only plays Vice. I believe their comp kind of, as you said, considers as a mostly default comp, but switching out that Killjoy for more of a Vice, just as comfort agent, and just as a little bit of a throw off to kind of make make the game a little bit more unpredictable, and it's easier for them to hold. We should be getting underway into agent select in about 15 seconds here. Yeah, I think we should be hopping in a second. Very interested to see if they do run that comp as expected, just the default with Vice for the side of Team 3 Graces. And a little bit, yeah, I'm not too sure as to what Redline kind of plays. I know they're a little bit more of a structured team who play like, just default comps and play like all put together and stuff.
Yeah, we're taking a look here, and they're going pretty out the way with their team comp here. Actually, we
Seems
have
so.
Natural hovering Yordu and Dan hovering Waylay. Oh no, now it's over. So
Yeah, and on the side of that Redline team, we have one lock being Tolkien on that cipher, and then we have kind of three, like if Bomb Dolphin, Tay, and Soramuzu kind of hovering between duelists of their own, mostly around a Jet Waylay Sorry, Mizu, we'll go to that Sova. Crawlers will go to that KO, and Bomb Dolphin continues to stay on that Jet, playing a more kind of default comp, just as Cypher rather than KJ. And the two locks we've had on T3 Graces have been Chamber, Yoru, Sova.
Yeah, I mean, Tolkien and Viceroy, two amazing Sentinel players, and we'll see just who comes up on top, you know? So
Yeah.
it'll be really exciting.
I do believe that Yoru is quite the comfort agent for Natural here. I'm very excited to see how he will perform. He did play earlier this afternoon to substitute in for the Yenas going up. He played Yoru on this map, had quite the performance. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see how he will show off in tonight's game.
Yeah, so it looks like we have Tolkien
Yes,
and
this should do.
on A, while everyone else is set up on B.
This goes here.
So playing like the I believe Team 2 Graces, this is Fnatic comp, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure this comp is engineered to play very weirdly unorthodox and just be aggressive.
Nope, wall set.
It looks like we have 4 here going mid. We have a smoke up on Cat. We're going up to top mid. All 4 people. Or 5 actually.
Anyone else?
We have Napu getting a pick. Dude. They're just falling as dominoes
Strike
here.
down mid. Last player standing.
Napu is taking out 3 people. Teleporting right to the enemy Cypher. But Nat
And
is dead.
insanely dominant, showing that pistol round, only dropping 1 for the side of Team 2 Graces there. Essentially just running that up into market. I believe that yeah, Natural kind of ended up in their spawn, very, very deep there. Just winning at those aim duels is very crucial.
Yeah, we can see already that they're likely taking a lot of control of mid.
Try not to
They
die.
completely overran mid for Redline, so that's going to be something they're going to have to look out for. We have another 5 back here on a main. So Redline is fighting back. Have to get the pick with
Last
Tolkien
player
trading
standing.
out. Absolutely with the stinger. And Bomb Dolphin is blinded and gets killed.
Just that 5v5 there was a nice kind of prediction for Natural, just shooting up into that Omen smoke after hearing that TP. But that free pick, it was easily able to kind of
Oh, this is a nice spot.
push them back using their one-way against them as they got too
That goes
aggressive
there.
essentially. It was just a 5v5 and
This
a
goes
main.
here.
Of course, having the attackers
this is a
come out
nice
on
spot.
top. Just due to the yeah, just due to that kind of weapon advantage.
There's 3 people up in the top mid. Bomb Dolphin not being able to get the pick that they wanted. We have Natural rolling up onto B main, along with Viceroy.
Decoy.
Clone in, shoots the clone, but they made it off.
Shock dart. Teleport's ready.
It looks like we have a little trouble
Spike
up on
down A.
3. That's Gamble, Nat, and B fighting Tolkien and Tay.
One enemy remaining.
Brawlers gets that 2k with G taking Tolkien out as well. And again, Redline takes the first round. Do you have any predictions for this round, Cruz?
Off this round, this is now becoming the first kind of gun round of the game. this is just pretty much the winner of this is just gonna be whoever picks up the defenses correctly. If they are able to, like, if any side is able to make a timing slip through, it's just gonna be anyone's game.
Yeah, it looks like T3G is
My ult's
walking
ready.
up into Tolkien's setup here. We have Natural taking out Sotomizu with the op. We have T3G
Here.
again taking up that
Plants the
mid
spike.
control. Let's see if Rollins can take it back. And he gets that one, but gets traded off by Natural with the op again. He's a demon with the op. We have T3G
Spike planted.
clearing here. Okay. Gets one. Backs off just a little bit. It looks like the two people on Heaven get the
One
win.
enemy remaining.
But G takes the win again, earning the third round for T3G. How did you think about that play, Cruz?
I think it was very well executed, just to where they were able to, like, be able to get off the side, like, relatively, like, easily, to be honest. But they were just, like, showed little resistance and get in easily. Picking out that Cypher and Dice.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of a split
through.
play here, a 1-2-2. Natural gets another uphill on Bomb Dolphin. This guy is a menace. We have them taking up mid again. We have Crawler's using his flash drive, but doesn't quite peek off of it. We have Viceroy taking out Sotomizu, getting that one pick that they needed. And Tolkien here holding down A site alone. He walks straight into the trip, but Tolkien isn't quite able to get that frag. Yeah, Natural getting another kill. How many kills is that? This
Last
is like
player
4, 3?
standing.
Oh, and Crawler's walking right into him.
Just kind of unfortunate for Tolkien there. Just ended up being kind of pinched from Natural Intrigue, just that threat of that op, and then just the attack from in main. I think Natural is working this attack op very well. He's essentially conditioning this opposition to just kind of be scared.
Yeah.
Like, not peek any long angles, just essentially, if you aren't holding something, then don't get onto that
This
angle,
is a nice
because there
spot.
could be the op there.
They need to get this up off of Natural's hands because he just doesn't miss.
Yeah.
See, we have... GambleNet is just chilling back here. Oh, we have 3 people scaling up the main. Taking down Sotomizu and GambleNet. We have Bomb Dolphin here, hopefully trying to get another pick as they are on eco. Using his there's his dash. And Crawler's here is left on 1 HP. Is he able to get a frag before he dies? See Tolkien holding cat and Crawler's holding mid.
Clean.
Not quite getting the frags that we needed. But G taking out Tolkien as well. They have complete control over mid.
Last player standing.
And Bomb Dolphin gets taken not out of Vayne though, taking down Dan as well. It is up to Tay to get this 1v3. And Natural hits the nastiest flick. It's like a frag fest and they're serving them a whole menu.
Never show
This
weakness.
isn't close at all
Ever.
right now. Oh, it looks like we might need a tech pause.
Yeah, there was a, it's kind of just, essentially just Natural, kind of just running it down mid with that operator. Just, I don't know why he's not being punished. Redline really need to work on that. Without them being punished, like without punishing this op, then Like there's no point in holding an angle. If they're not going to
Yeah,
get rid of this op, then they can't hold anything.
it's
I
like
think they need to work on that.
yeah, every time they have a perfect textbook execute onto mid, it's like they wrote the basic textbook. You know, flawless utility, flawless timing. That's a sign of a well-oiled machine with natural on the op, and having Viceroy lurking, getting those frags that they need to make an opening.
Yeah, no, I believe that the way that T3G are playing right now, it's pretty much just make noise like in one lane of mid, go down the other, and then just have natural in the front lines, quick scoping with that op. If he's able to get one, then they have a lane to just kind of attack through. That's yeah, I think Redline kind of need to just get rid of that op in any way that they possibly could. Maybe just off more util, like with the recon bolts or the flash drives, maybe even a paranoia. Just get him off an angle and then into your crosser.
Yeah, we do have Redline finally on a buy round. We have From the Shadows, Neutral Theft. We have 3 ults ready. But so does T3G. So this might be a battle of the ults here. You know,
Yeah, no, I think the way that they have like the ults, it's essentially for this T3G side, the only ult that they can like really use in their current position is just that Yoru ult. But when you look at Redline and you have those impact ults like the neural thefts and the null command that can really be game changing on those retakes and early rotating. It's just it can really make a difference.
yeah, I think Natural might save his Dimensional Drift until he loses the op. But it's looking like he's going to be keeping onto that operator for a little while longer before he can use his ult. So we
Yeah.
also have Tour de France with Gamble Nats. So maybe we're seeing another op here in action. He does have a stinger. So that looks like something we're going to be graced by.
Yeah.
And hopefully this time, Tolkien setup might have a little more value. But
That mid
Natural does, yeah. Natural does have his fake out, which could potentially perfectly counter Tolkien Cypher, but hopefully Tolkien knows how to adapt to Natural's Yoru and, you know, secure a good site defense.
Yeah, no, I believe that the way that Tolkien can kind of move around his setups is what could change this game. You like the versatility of just having that trip in mid to slow down that push and get the small bits of info, and then putting that onto the rest of your trips onto B and playing kind of towards CT side can probably switch up the way that this op needs to be played.
Yeah, I mean, with Redline having KO and Sova as their initiators, they do have the information advantage. So hopefully they could use that to sort of scope out where Natural is, play around that, and potentially finding out where Viceroy is. Because Viceroy does like to lurk and get those valuable picks they need to exec onto site.
Just until while we're waiting for this tech pause, I do believe that it will just probably take a second for everything to kind of regroup and everything. Um, and ev- everyone's back from the tech pause. We should be fixing it all up now.
Yeah, so this is a break in momentum. So we'll see if Redline can use this opportunity and this tech pause to sort of bring it back out with new, fresh techniques and maybe potentially shutting down T3G.
Yeah, so like this squirrel right here with that nut grenade, you know, and the worm with the cane. Yeah. I think if if Redline like can make a comeback to even get this half to like maybe 7-5, then it's looking great for them. But the way that they're
Yeah.
playing right now, it's not gonna work. They need to fix something out.
I think they are probably giving a little too much space.
Yeah.
If they are on attack, they're gonna have to be going against GambleNat and Viceroy's Chamber and Vice. So that double sentinel, and of course we have Natural in the op, potentially is quite hard to get through. So they're gonna have to work really hard to bring back this half to be able to even have a chance at attack.
Yeah. I think the way that because we know that Bomb Dolphin is an extremely talented player that has a very nice aim. If Krell is able to set up Bomb Dolphin with some of that utility, like the flash drives and cutting them off in the mains with those with the fragment, I believe that Bomb Dolphin can single-handedly get Redline some more rounds as long as he's set up properly.
Yeah, it looks like we're live here again. And we have Tolkien this time setting up on B with his tripwire and Cage and camera. We have Cypher Cage up
You want
on
to play?
A.
Let's play.
And out comes the tour de force from GambleNuts.
Yeah, we'll see if two ops, we'll see if Redline can get past this one this time. We have GambleNuts up, he's scaling mid, trying to look for a pick here. Are Crawlers and Tolkien aware? Oh, he shoots Tolkien's tripwire. Crawler is now aware, trying to get a bit of a flash here. Gets it off. Gets quite a bit of damage on Nat, and he goes down. What a perfectly executed team play with the tripwire coming from Tolkien and the flash drive. GambleNuts was walking into a Venus flytrap, ready to just clamp down. We have Dan and Sotomizu here having an altercation. Dan takes out Sotomizu. Having a little sober battle. So we have Tolkien holding on B, but quite can't get it. We have Dan and Natural scaling up mid. Does Crawlers know that there's an op waiting for him?
30 seconds left.
And Natural peeks again. It looks like they're going back onto A.
Traveling. Planted.
We have B
Deploying
here,
drone.
moving from the shadows to get that plant down onto A site. We're having Tay and G about to get a little bit of a meet up with Bomb Dolphin following shortly behind.
Still in sight.
Tay using his paranoia onto Tree. We have Bomb Dolphin dashing
Last player standing.
onto Generator. G gets rid of both of them.
One enemy remaining.
Tries to get a knife kill on Bomb Dolphin and throws the round. Bomb Dolphin getting that 4K and closing out the round. Getting the second round for Redline.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that that knife play there. Just simply because first of all he whiffed the knife, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then
he definitely could be.
even if he was gonna whiff the knife like that, at least whiff it once your teammate has swung. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, I think that
'Cause,
was a guaranteed 6th round for
Should have been.
T3G until we pulled out the knife from G. Don't know what they were thinking there, but
Do what you do best.
You know.
Pretty sure that yeah, since now that knife has cost them a lot, I just doubled Redline's rounds and just donated Bomb Dolphin and op.
yeah, Bomb Dolphin whiffing that shot on Viceroy. We have Natural
seems to have
and Bomb
rebought.
Dolphin. Natural finally loses the op. So we'll see if anyone picks it up. It doesn't look like anyone is. And Bomb Dolphin gets another kill here onto Dan. And we have Viceroy and GambleNat scaling up to A. Or it looks like GambleNats is going back up to mid to tree to join his teammates. We have Bomb Dolphin still holding mid with crawlers to help him hold that double angle. Of the dark cover blocking Bomb Dolphin's ult here. It looks like G and GambleNats are scaling back onto B. But little do they know, Soramizu and Bomb Dolphin are waiting there for them. Tay and Viceroy are having a little bit of a meeting here. Not quite getting a kill on each other.
One enemy
Bomb
remaining.
Dolphin getting another kill on GambleNats and Viceroy going down by Tony. And Soramizu closing out the round, getting round number 3. I think it's the start of our
This place
comeback
is
here.
nice, but not nice enough to die in. Let's win and get out of here.
Alright, we have Natural finally losing the AWP. We have... I mean, that was a pretty expensive round coming from T3G.
I believe that was Crawlers who was able to fish out Natural through that smoke. Was just
Yeah.
able to get him down. Op fell. Which,
Yeah, he was
by the looks of it,
he could smell him.
GambleNat seems to be rebuying. And then Bomb Dolphin just holding that smoke walk out for Dan, which is immaculate.
So we here have Natural using the dimensional drift. We have 2 ops coming out. We have the Hunter's Fury. Natural does get one on Soramizu, but Crawlers here
Spike down,
trades
B.
out Natural G, and we have Bomb Dolphin taking out Viceroy. It is the battle of these two teams.
Take flight.
Have Viceroy getting a little unlucky, getting picked off for the last couple rounds. With GambleNat keeping with his operator down main, seeing if he could get a 1v1 with Bomb Dolphin here.
Here.
We have a little bit of a stalemate, it looks like. We have Dan and GambleNat just holding main, not quite giving it up yet. Bomb Dolphin misses
Last
that
player
shot, that
standing.
could be crucial, but no. They take it back by taking out the getting that trade? No, not just yet. GambleNats might just walk away to save this op here, scaling up mid, hopefully trying to get one more frag before he leaves. The altercation here. 2 whiffs, oh, GambleNats a whiff. And he gets taken down by Tay.
Absolutely, that was a crazy adjustment we saw from Crawlers there. He just popped that knock command and just knew that if he was knocked down, that it was able to be rezzed. Just full swing out, was able to trade token there on Natural and then make the flick adjustment onto, I believe, Viceroy in lane. So then just get those 2 down. That was the
Yeah.
spike and another body. And then just from there, just pouring out of
I
main.
think we had
How did
3
you get
ults
to him?
there. We had Null, we had Dimensional Drift,
Dimensional
and we
Drift.
had Hunter's Fury. So that was a pretty ult-packed round. Here we have Vise using their ult to try to get that early entry in. Tolkien taking out Natural G, taking out Tolkien with that trade.
Spike planted.
And Cole is taking out GambleNats, but getting traded off again. Viceroy is holding main pretty well, but Dan is just being a menace here. I don't know if they know that he's
One
already
enemy
on
remaining.
site in hell here, so this could be a perfect timing. He's in the smoke and they don't know. This could be a beautiful clutch coming from G. Now they're aware.
One enemy remaining.
Gets the kill, but doesn't quite get that second frag on Soramizu here. Soramizu closing out that round.
We're now
Okay.
tied up at 5-5. This was a 1-5 kind of position for Redline. I think the way that they've kind of well adjusted to how Team 3 Graces have been playing with those aggressive ults. And they've respected that once they do get those numbers, that there's no reasoning to continue swinging. And now if Redline are able to complete this round, if they're able to win this, they will not only gather the round advantage, but they will bankrupt the side of Team 3 Graces as they're on a force round. some of which
Yeah.
not even having heavy shields, and they're left at 0 credits.
Yeah, we had Viceroy there using that steel garden, getting onto site, getting the plant down, but just couldn't quite hold that base plant. So here, it looks like we're scaling up mid again, having Gamble Nats and G up onto tree. We have Dan getting that kill on crawlers. Bomb Dolphin maybe peeking this to get that trade. Yep, gets that trade on natural,
Spike
but doesn't
planted.
quite get Dan there. And Gamble Nats and Tolkien here also have a nice meeting with Gamble Nats taking that kill. With Viceroy and G on the side here, holding hell together.
Shadows traveling.
Will Tate and Soramizu be able to close this out in a 2v4? They do have the shield advantage. Soramizu getting that kill on Dan, breaking that tree door. He's still holding hell with Viceroy. Tate climbing up to heaven here. They might not have time.
One enemy remaining.
They are running out and they don't have time, so they're probably just gonna run and save. But all of them die to the spike in the end. That's quite poetic, actually. So we have 5 and 6.
Last round
Big
in
Big
the
round to
half.
win. Big round to win for the Team 3 Graces, but it doesn't give them anything but that round win. They have no money now.
Yeah, it was quite an expensive round for T3G. Even though they closed that out, they are having some economy issues with Gamble Nats on a classic. But he's able to have his tour de force. So
This entire side of Redline here are
You want
able
to
to
play?
force up
Let's
with
play.
everything except for Tolkien on that last shields.
yeah, here we have Dan getting a little bit chipped off of his health. This is a tough site for Gamble Nats to get his tour de force off.
Nowhere to run!
With Hunter's Fury coming out and Soramizu shuts down Gamble Nats. And we are yet to see Gamble Nats use his tour de force. Well, twice now. And we just have a little bit of a stalemate here with Bomb Dolphin whiffing that second Viceroy, but closing it out. Will they know that Dan is right there ready to trade? And Bomb Dolphin gets caught reloading and gets taken out. The crawlers, he's still tucked in this cubby. Just holding, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Oh, and now to walk straight into it.
30 seconds left.
He's a little hesitant here, but swings
One
out,
enemy
gets that
remaining.
kill on crawlers, but Soramizu
Spike down
chasing
B.
again. G going down. We have Tolkien here rotating to help his team. We have Dan rotating through mid to go to A. He has 13 seconds to get this plant down.
10 seconds
With
left.
everyone rotating from B to A, trying to just get there in time. We have Tay using his ult here, teleporting behind him and closing this round out.
6-6 at the half is certainly desirable, considering the start of this half was a 5-1 lead for Team 3 Graces.
Switching sides.
Very big bounce back for the side of Redline there. For them to be able to just, hit back and come back to this tight scoreline.
That tech pause just might have had some sort of effect onto Redline. They seem a lot more coordinated and are playing together quite better, able to adapt to T3G's aggressive
Now we
and
win.
sort of chaotic gameplay here. So
This will be the side where T3G should thrive, considering the Vice and the Chamber should be able to just leave the mid kind of open.
yeah. However,
essentially.
they're playing a bit strange, pushing out 4 people onto a main here, having Gamble Nats hold down B by himself. And they're about to have a little meet and greet with just scouting each other out. Viceroy does get picked off by Soramizu. And we have T3G sort of just sitting here waiting for them to make the mistake. Redline getting that crucial kill on Dan and Gamble Nats. Natural getting a little bit of chip damage there. Natural ND are gonna have to pull some miracle to close it out
Player
round.
standing.
But Sonomizu does get that kill on G, so it is all up to Natural here. A 1v4.
Spike planted.
And Bomb Dolphin, after a couple whiffs, does end up taking Natural. So this is a 7-6 onto Redline.
Notice that as soon as they took kind of off A main to about the orb, Natural would instantly leave to try and support Gamble Nuts off of the noise of what
we
just
wait.
bombed off in there. I'm not sure whether that was correct in the play, because I believe that
Retrieving thorn trap.
Gamble Nuts
Launching
teleport
thorn.
off as soon as contact was taken.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have just held their positions at the point.
Yeah, it looks like T3G is taking a little bit of a backpedal onto A main this time. Gamble Nuts getting taken out by Crawlers fighting for Catwalk. Here we have G putting up dark cover to help support Natural in tree. Looks like we have Crawlers and Bomb Dolphin able to take up all that space onto B main, but are they aware that there's a Viceroy waiting here for them? They get a little bit of a glimpse, but decide to commit anyway. Dashing onto side, Bomb Dolphin is about to take out Viceroy here. With that dark cover, and Viceroy and Natural get taken out, and B is all free for Redline to enjoy. We have G and Dan here again. I think Dan has disconnected, unfortunately. G is
Spike
going to take that
planted.
token,
Last
but gets
player
a
standing.
firing squad from Redline and isn't able to close it out. It looks like we're having a little bit of an internet issue here. Dan is DC'd, so this is going to be a little tough for T3G to take this back. Yeah, what did you think about that round?
I think the way they played was very well done. The way that they took the round to the point where they were able to get a pick before they could commit to a site.
Fulfill my
Just know that they had that numbers advantage before they would fully commit to the site. And yes, we will get a tech pause going on here. For the side of Team 3 Graces, seems as if there will be a disconnect.
Yeah, it looks like Dan
Unfortunately.
is having a little bit of issues, which is quite unfortunate because server is pretty important for an Ascent comp. However, we do have token 1 away from neutral theft, so I am willing to bet that there's going to be a little bit of an orb fight here, probably down on A main. Neural theft, sorry. Neural theft, my bad.
So I believe the way that Team 3 Graces are holding that setup of pretty much just leaving Chamber Util and Vice Util to hold 2 of the 4 lanes is working. It's just they haven't been able to play off of that information and have the guns correctly to kind of benefit off of this setup.
Yeah, unlike Cypher, Vise is pretty vulnerable when you get past her utility. So it might be a better idea having one of T3G to back up Vise on a site.
Yeah, I think the it seems to be more that the Vice is playing with the wall as more of an information than a kind of isolatory kind of piece of util, where have someone walk out or bait the wall, then they have the information that at least one person's there. So then, and then with the chamber trip, it's the exact same thing. Have that there, just for if they go up market, then you have the information. Then they just leave it there. It's kind of
Yeah,
like
it-
cipher cams on like all those lanes are just there to look.
Yeah, it looks like Dan has reconnected here.
You should
And
be
it-
getting back into the game in a moment.
And it looks like Gamonat is looking for a little bit of a prod up on B main, maybe fighting for the orb. But everyone else looks like they're in a pretty default setup, having Vi's whole tree. Doesn't look like they're quite ready just yet.
This
We
is
do
weird. I swear we never have tech pauses in VCC OCE.
Yes. Yeah, it's not very usual. We see this a lot, but
Yeah, for sure.
That's
so
enough
we
there.
do have Chambers, Trademark, and Rendezvous in mid here, and we have Viceroy's Razor Vines up onto A. Looks like they're looking
will
for
I
an
spot
off-post
first?
placement here.
It seems to be that they want to try and sell fake with a spike being top mid, and then they're 3 members
Yeah, we're having
of the
Redline
Redline team.
push up onto B main, getting Gamble Nat and Natural being able to get that trade onto Bomb Dolphin. Pulse gets a little bit of an upgrade here from Guardian to a Vandal. This one's looting the bodies. Natural trying to get that kill, spamming through this dark cover here. Crawling. And so he's trying to get this space up on B, but gets picked off by Natural. And he just gate crashes straight out. And Tolkien, he planting on A.
Planted the spike. My
And so
ultimate
he
is
does get taken out here, but they did do a great job distracting
Where is
T3G to be
everyone
able to get that
hiding?
plant down. Tolkien uses that neural. Dan's looking for a little bit of
They found my
quality here. Trying to break that with a shotgun.
Last player standing.
Tolkien
One
taken
enemy
out.
remaining.
And Tolkien. Dan just gets a 3k heat and sweeps the entire Redline team.
And that was a near bonus conversion for the side of Redline. Getting 4 and a plant down is as best as you can get without winning the round. So
Yeah,
I think they're set up for a really good spot, and those who did die on the side of Team 3 Graces aren't in a good spot financially now. I think to buy Guardians and Ares.
Yeah, it does look like they're a bit of, short on the econ. But we are talking neural
Check your
theft,
posture.
not quite being able to get that value on it, but they are already halfway to another one, so looks like G puts up a dark cover one way onto A. But Gamble now is gonna need a little help onto B side. So we have G rotating over. Natural having a gate crash just onto A just in case. And it looks like he's gonna need it because Redline is traveling through mid, dark covering to get past onto Cat. Getting that big rotate. Natural does use his gate crash. Getting that early information. Natural
Spike
catching
down
Somizu with his
One
hands
enemy
down.
remaining.
And G
Cage
getting
triggered.
taken out though. So he will Viceroy coming from B to a late rotate A. And Tay and Tolkien are gonna take that hell control, hopefully looking for a fight up heaven. Tay dark covers up A main and heaven, so Viceroy's gonna have a tough time trying to get past this. But they do have a arc rose. So will Viceroy be able to use this to their advantage? Oh, that spy dance gets that dart. Viceroy is in a little bit of a trouble. Tay being able to wallbang through hell. Running out of time, and Viceroy does just have to retreat here to save this gun. Tay and Tolkien did a pretty good job,
They brought
delaying
weapons made
time,
of
waiting
metal
for
to
the
kill
spike
me.
to tick away, letting Viceroy lose
Ironic.
to the clock.
Yes, this should do.
I think that was pretty amazing to see the T3G's teamwork and team play there. But it looks like Redline is going to have a little bit of a fight up on B main here. They are close to
Revealing
getting
area.
from the shadows.
Alright, I'm back.
We have T3G just taking out that A main control, so they're aware that they're most likely towards B, and they are correct. But Bomb Dolphin of course is able to get those frags. However, Bomb Dolphin does get isolated by that wall and gets taken out.
No more meddling. My ultimate is ready.
Taking out Tolkien. Dan having a late rotate.
ahead.
G is sitting in market, but they are aware of where they are. So we have both Tate and Soramizu holding that left side there. Could walk up lane and they wouldn't know, just like what Dan is doing right now. There's that paranoia coming through. They can't quite see Tate hiding on guys. Gets taken out. And Soramizu closes that out for G. Soramizu is a menace right now. The aim is amazing. Looks like the sort of that back pedal, you know, when Redline does get taken out, Soramizu is there to close out the round when they need.
He has been pretty pretty detrimental to winning these rounds. Without it's kind of just like a fallback. Both him and Tolkien, I feel like have really been there when they need to be, you know, when it matters most.
Yeah, we do have both teams having From the Shadows and Hunter's Fury to use in this next round. Natural having his Dimensional Drift and the Blade Storm coming from Bomb Dolphin. So this
We
could
will be getting a tech pause here off of a disconnect.
It looks like Natural does disconnect every 30 minutes or so. So that is you know, something we will be looking forward to the next couple games. But Natural does need that nerf, going 17 and 13, getting those frags. Doesn't need a little bit of a nerf here and there. Yeah,
He has been slowing down on that operator, even after switching to this defensive side, where arguably it's at its best. So
yeah, he has been having not a very good chance at getting enough money to be able to get that op and all of his utility, as Yoru is very heavily dependent on his utility, so getting an op would have to mean there would have to be a couple rounds ahead just to get that economy back up, because here we have an Ares, a Bulldog, and a couple of half shields, or light shields, so not looking very good on the T3G side.
B on the side of T3G seems to be very very comfortable playing that Ares. Has been opting it for maybe the last couple rounds. Even on buys, seems to kind of opt towards the light kind of machine gun.
It is interesting to see because we have Dan here saving, but the rest of the team is getting rifles and SMGs, so you know, don't really know what their plan is here. Maybe they haven't really spoken about saving. Oh, looks like G takes and gives the Ares to Dan. Nope, gives it right back. Just having a good time up on Happy here. Oh, we have Dan getting that Ares too. So hopefully when Natural does come back, he does get a gun. But it looks like they might be saving their ults for next round when they have better guns, because being able to get enough value from Hunter's Fury, From the Shadows, and Dimensional Drift is quite hard without having proper guns. So it is a bit hard to see. We have Danny switching to the Sheriff, maybe being a little more considerate of the next round, because they are likely to lose this. We have Redline 5 stacking B. Looks like they're going for a rush exec here. Knowing that T3G probably doesn't have the best guns, so they're probably going to take advantage of that. But it looks like Viceroy and Gamblenats might be thinking about challenging Redline and the B main control here. Maybe
We are
wanting
still going from this tech pause.
maybe wanting that Steel Garden for Viceroy here from the orb on B main.
they're able to contest against the 4 people attacking this B main, I believe that this should be a very, very deserving of an ult for this Viceroy.
Yeah, so
As the
last time,
full
yeah.
force of Redline is going to be on this Vice and Chamber.
Yeah, I mean, if they are ready to take that battle and somehow take out Redline here in main, I would say Viceroy deserves that ult orb. So it looks like we're going live here. And let's see this giant battle up on B main. Who will come out? Viceroy with the Sheriff and Galmanats with a Vandal but no shields. And the entire Redline team with almost everyone having a full buy. We have Galmanats taking out Bomb Dolphin here. Getting that drone onto B, getting that information. And it looks like they're a little stuck here from Sheer, from Vice's wall. And the Aqua is going out. Paranoid gets sent down mid. Dan gets an amazing headshot onto Soren. Viceroy does get taken out there. That will be pretty detrimental onto the site. However, Gamblenats and Dan is just able to hold onto B main. We have Spike dropped here. However, it looks like ready to use that from the shadows, but gets taken out. So the Spike is just stuck on B main, while Tolkien has to come up with a way to get it back. And then they have a little bit of a meeting
My
here.
ultimate is ready.
Tolkien getting that kill on Dan.
Where is
Maybe being able to use that in that neutral theft coming out. Gamble Nats having a 1v1 with Tolkien here. Being spotted. Tolkien
30 seconds left.
being able to get taken down from Gamble Nats. Using that rendezvous.
That was just very unfortunate. I think if Tolkien swung even a second earlier, he could still catch Gamblenats in that animation.
Yeah, it looks like Tolkien maybe didn't hear the rendezvous being placed, because that could have been the crucial window to take Gamblenats out.
Yep, so we do see that the Steel Garden did end up being earned.
Get out of my way!
Most likely off of Viceroy's death, I believe.
Yeah, we have the Blade Storm being popped here. Looking down the path, having that Hour Drone and Dark Cover to back him up. However, Gamblenats and Viceroy flanking onto them, getting taken out. However, they do get traded. But Tay and Tolkien are left alone fighting mid here. They do have From the Shadows. They are looking to fight Tree here. But G is waiting for them with an Odin and takes both of them out. G loves the SMGs. Clearly.
Yeah, we see that a lot of these buys from him have been these machine guns. Just must prefer the kind of style of being able to just penetrate the walls, and like knowing that they have like a higher fire rate, you're able to just kind of go at them and do a lot of damage with a lot of ammo.
G loves playing a little bit like a rat, sitting in corners waiting for them to just trip that trap.
Trusty anchor.
Yeah. And it looks like we're going to be fighting for mid control. Gamblenats holding with his tour de force, getting that kill on Crawlers, looking for a second frag here. Okay, deciding to back up is a good idea. Having Paranoia onto the main here. But we're not getting quite the value. Dan gets a kill on Bomb Dolphin here, retreating back onto site. And traded out. And it looks like Tay uses his From the Shadows to help support his team using Dark Cover. But do they know naturally right there waiting for them? They do! Nothing gets taken out mid-flash. Tolkien does get stabbed in the back there with G and his infamous Odin, but does get taken out by the enemy.
One enemy remaining.
Tay's getting an amazing clutch here. Let's see if he can close this out. Dan versus Tay. However, Tay doesn't really know where Dan is, but Dan does have the advantage here. He having to clear all of his angles. Being able to use his Dark Cover to get a little bit of an opening
30
here.
seconds left.
Looks like
Use
Dan
one shock dart.
is now confused.
Oh
Oh,
no.
it looks like they're gonna be a little bit of time here. And Dan does get that kill. Tay needs to check his corners. Otherwise, that's gonna be happening a lot more in this game.
Don't
So
give them
Dan
time to
does
reposition.
pick up the Odin from G.
Right up now from it's at 10-10. This was 8-6. 2 rounds after the half. I wonder if we're going to see more of a clapback like we did see for the side of Redline, like we saw in the first half. If they're going to come snap out of nowhere,
Yeah.
just get back and find those rounds that just seemed impossible.
Yeah, it looks like Redline is once again fighting for B main. Sova using his owl drone just to get a little information. But are they aware?
No command on the eco.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they aware that Viceroy's setup is right here, but that just gets nullified. And now he's trying to get a pick with his ult, but isn't looking quite successful with the dark cover in his face. However, it goes down. Bomb Dolphin getting a kill on Viceroy. Gamblenet getting that trade on Bomb Dolphin again, but gets taken out by Hunter's Fury. It looks like there's a Hunter's Fury one-on-one here. We have Dan and Mizu using both. But it looks like Dan wasn't able to get that kill he needed. He does get a little bit of an entry for Natural NG to get those 2 kills. Having Mizu and
player
Cole is
standing.
stuck onto site here, but they are able to close it out. However,
That's harder.
probably not having enough time.
Thrifty.
All of that ult for nothing. Just to run out of time and lose in the end. He does be able to live here, saving their amazing Odin.
I'm unsure as to whether that round was truly worth it when you kind of look at the ult economy and just the credits economy off the side of Redline. They used
Yeah.
Hunter's Fury and no command while being on an eco with just sheriffs. Sure,
Yeah, I
they got the
mean-
round win, but it's going to be very difficult for them to get any more now
Yeah.
going on.
I believe they were probably also just looking for that that opening to knock down T3G's eco once more, because as they have been getting guns, they are able to close that window between the score here. And it is 11 and 10 on Redline's side. It does look like they're doing a little bit of a split push, having crawlers and Mizu both initiated onto B main here, having the rest onto A. Crawlers and Mizu being an unstoppable duo here. It's like a wall that people cannot pass. Bomb Dolphin getting that
One
kill on
enemy
G,
remaining.
not being able to use that Odin once more. Viceroy does get crawlers though.
Spike
However,
planted.
there is another initiator waiting. Hey, waiting to use that paranoia for Bomb Dolphin to secure that kill. Natural holding this with a Bucky, but gets killed by a classic. Doesn't quite get that kill. Maybe stick to an operator.
This is now a match point for Redline. Down from that 1-5 deficit, it's looking really, really good for them. If they're able to keep up this this half, this is gonna be yeah, this will be their map.
Yeah, and we have T3G on light shields, having Guardian and a Bulldog here.
Of course, with
And
an Odin.
even with the Vandal and Phantom, they don't have full shields. So this
Only
looks
real
like a
contender for this
clean,
round
yeah,
is G.
G with his Odin. But they aren't quite on the right side here. We have Redline swarming in onto A, using that owl drone. And that flash drive, using both of them. Cole does
G
Flash
teleports
itself.
into the open, but is not punished due to no one being out.
he just
Spike down A.
crowds
Last
and
player
steps
standing.
onto Jen. What, obviously no one being on site doesn't quite get seen there, but Dan and Natural with their keen eyes getting that kill.
Dan does put that Bulldog to good work, finding those 2 last picks. Just I'm a little bit confused as to there was, I think Bomb Dolphin was on site. There just was not anyone else out to help.
Yeah, it looks
they
like
could've
there's a
used Util.
timeout here from Soramizu and Redline. Looks like they're going to have a little chat about how to close this out, or they're going to go to overtime, and that's not something that they want. Having that economy still, it looks like they're pretty even. However, Crawlers does have a pistol, Viceroy, and that's being on light shield and having a bulldog. So it looks pretty. It could go both ways here.
Yeah, no, I think the way that this can kind of structure out is considering Crawlers can't buy a Vandal with his team. I think just the 4 Vandals and whatever he's able to purchase is probably very on point with the buy from Team 3 Graces. If Team 3 Graces can pull this into an overtime, then I think this is going to be very neck and neck for that entire overtime.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like it's not going to matter, however, since Redline does have some guns, but Viceroy does have that steel gun to just take them away again. And we have G again on the Odin. And then hold on to top mid here. Using the power gun. A little bit of a peek, spotting all 3 up tower. We have everyone rotating, except for Gamblenat anchoring onto B. He does seem to stay there for a bit longer. Natural getting that kill on Tolkien. That is pretty big. Now they're going to be able to flank and have no idea. Natural does get taken out by Bombdolphin in tree though. Dan does get that trade. Dan getting that second kill onto Toramizu. And looks like Gamblenat gets taken out by the lurk. It looks like we're going to be going into overtime here unless Crawlers and Tay are able to close this out and win them the first match.
Last player standing.
Ooh, Tay does get wallbanged by Viceroy though. They are aware Crawler is up on heaven and he gets taken out by Dan. Dan here is popping off this
Switching
path,
sides.
hey.
Overtime.
Dan really seems to have realized that he can be the win condition for this Team 3 Graces team as long as he's able to, play his util and be that aggressive part that he knows he's able to do. Just he needs to be able to use his drones well to kind of clear out that main angles, because it seems to be heavy main aggression every single round from essentially both sides.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the weapons here, we have Gamblenat on the operator once more. G and Viceroy deciding to take on that Odin. So, Redline is in a little bit of a pickle here, having an entire fighting squad. Although the recon bolt does scan, but he just gets scanned right back by Dan. We have 3 up here on B, having Tolkien set up on A. They are getting a little unlucky with where T3G has been going. But it looks like they're making a last-minute decision going up to A, so Tolkien here might have a window of opportunity to show his worth.
Tag.
So
They
Tolkien
found my
being
wire.
able to use
Camera
that
taken
spy
out.
cam, getting that tripwire,
Spike planted.
but does get
One
taken
enemy
out
remaining.
here by Natural, and Natural being able to take out 2
Blinding.
along Bombdolphin here. And Tolkien does get fired down by Viceroy. The Odins here are just an absolute
Switching
menace.
sides.
Redline are going to have
Match
to
point.
be able to adapt way quicker and faster to be able to find opponents out.
Yeah, the way that Gamblenats uses this ult
Teleport's ready.
essentially is just there to cut off the rotates.
That works.
You see, as the whole team is crossing
That's not ready.
across
Teleport's ready.
archers, he stayed
That's
to
not ready.
cut off crawlers. He was not able to, rotate off.
Yeah, I mean, who
Teleport's ready.
needs a trademark from Chamber or a sheer wall from Viceroy when you just have Gamblenats on the op here? And it does look like Dan's going to be able to scan Tolkien and Soramizu up on A main. But it looks like they're backing up here. Soramizu sort of checking out bottom mid.
Spike
Natural getting
down
that
mid.
kill on Soramizu though, and that spike is dropped onto mid top. Ooh, Gamble that not quite getting that flick that he wanted. Having to hold B site by himself with an op is quite hard. However, we do have G here with the assistance with dark cover. However, flash drive is used. No one quite onto site just yet. Token here, getting that kill on Dan, getting that opening, and rotating back to B to join his friends. It looks like they're thinking here whether or not
Cover
to
going
get
out.
30 seconds left.
this exec onto B. Gamblenats and Crawlers have been eyeing each other out, not quite getting the kill on each other though, and using that whiff and reload time. Bomb Dolphin does swift dash onto site here.
10 seconds left.
Tolkien planting in the corner. Bomb
Spike
Dolphin
planted. Last
and
player standing.
Crawlers are gonna have to fight this Odin here from G.
Cover going out.
However, they do reveal that they do have an Odin here. G spamming through dice, trying to get that kill. With that paranoia. But the Odin's pullout is just way too long, and Bomb Dolphin just gets that window of opportunity to take him out.
Switching sides. Overtime.
Yeah, the way
Just
Bomb
let them
Dolphin is
try
able
and
to capitalize off of hearing, like, the pullout is, like, very well. You just know that, the way he waits for, like, the timing to
Yeah,
then
he-
kind
he
of
was-
swing.
Yeah, he was waiting for that paranoia to be taken out, and using that updraft to just take G out.
It's very well
But-
played.
Yeah, speaking of, Bomb Dolphin has been amazing with their utility. Their Tailwind execs onto site have been crucial to getting their team onto the site and getting that plan down. So it looks like we're playing a little slower. Having G sit and spawn to smoke off mid market and bottom mid. Natural does get that kill on Tay though. So Redline are going to have to live without the smoke. Bomb Dolphin does get taken out by G.
Spike planted.
The only... Oh, Tolkien gets that confrontation with two people, but somehow gets that kill on Natural. Crawlers helping out here, taking
Cage triggers.
Soramizu and Gamble Nats.
One enemy remaining.
Viceroy with the Odin,
player
getting that
standing.
little cheeky peek, but Soramizu is just too good.
It is a big round for this Redline team, considering that this defensive side
Yeah.
has been their weaker side. They've been very strong in this attacking kind of area,
Switching sides.
Yeah.
being able
Match
to
point.
just be able to get
What do
on
you say,
side and
Drone?
trade each other
Ready to stretch
effectively.
your wings?
Yeah, Soramizu just
Oh.
deletes them like a Windows update,
Yeah.
man. Like, it's amazing to see this amazing team play. I think that Redline might have a little of an upper hand on T3G on that department, being able to use their utility and playstyle to support each other and get those kills and get those entries.
Yeah, I do believe we are going to get a bit of a tech pause here. There might have been a disconnect from the side of Redline, so we may have to give it a moment. And yeah, going into possibly the last round, if Redline are able to play
Yeah.
this round out convincingly and be as strong as they have been,
Yeah,
I think
it
this
looks
is doable.
Yeah, it looks like Redline is going to stay on their comfort weapons here, as well as T3G, having just Vandals and Redline, and having G and Viceroy on the Odin again, and Nats on the op. And we do know that Nats does hit their shots, so Redline has to be pretty careful into peeking these angles. Otherwise,
Speaking
they
of
can take
gamble
down.
nats, they have been, not kind of meeting expectations in kind of sense. We're
Yeah.
not usually seeing this scoreline of 14 and 21 is quite a rare thing to see, especially playing this chamber, which is very much a comfort agent playing on the op, which is very much comfort weapon. It's a bit rare.
Yeah, it
you
looks
know,
like GambleNuts is playing a little bit of a independent role on his
mm,
team. So his utility is being used more for themselves. So his aim and op is just gonna have to be a little more valuable.
yeah,
Otherwise, T3G are gonna get eliminated, and that's not what we want.
because you know, when we talk about like that's I guess bottom fragging, it's might not be something usual, but I guess like every burger needs a bottom bun. Like
That is
that,
true.
there has
GambleNuts,
to be a bottom frag.
yeah,
Just
could be
happens to
just
be him.
taking a back seat for the rest of his team to shine.
Yeah.
Having Natural G and Dan up in the 20s here. Crawlers and Bomb Dolphin as well.
Crawls has been having an amazing game. Very well played from
Yeah.
him.
Having so easy heavy hour drone. Natural tries to get that blind side, but just
Huge
does get
picks.
taken out. Bomb Dolphin is just here to support his team, but Dan is the exact same. However, gets taken out by So Music with a spray into the cyber cage.
Spike planted.
Yeah, I mean, G and GambleNuts team is going to have to work extra hard to be able to get onto the site, clear every angle, and take this to another overtime.
Last player standing.
G does
Looking
get taken
unlikely.
out here, so GambleNuts has to close this out, otherwise they're going to lose this first game. Getting one, but does get taken out by Tay. It is 15-13 Redline side, so our predictions are correct. It was pretty close though, which was pretty
Very neck and
unexpected.
neck.
Yeah, honestly, both teams did pretty well. I mean, I have to give props to T3G. I mean, they are getting used to each other. They do have 2 subs. But I'm going to have to say, Crawlers, G, and Tay are such team players here. If we just look at the scoreboard, we have 15 assists, 12 assists, and 14. Pretty high numbers here.
Yeah, I think you can see even though Natural his team did lose, he had 9 first bloods and came out as this match MVP. Very unfortunate. If I'd be a little bit defeated if I were him, but
Yeah,
should
I
not
think
he should not be tilted. It's definitely he did not have a bad game himself.
yeah, it's definitely hard because Natural was sort of had a little obstacle in his like momentum with all the tech pauses and timeouts. So without those, we could have been watching a very different game.
Certainly, I think the way that he plays is very, I guess, unorthodox. He doesn't play as you usually would. I guess he's very much a random player.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really see a Yoru on Ascent, so the fact that Natural pulls out his combat pick and basically dominates the lobby, going 26 and 22, is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Just
I think
just not being able to close out the win though.
it's just very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, but the Sentinels, like for Viceroy, Tolkien, and GambleNats, all at the bottom here, especially with a site like with a map like Ascent, you would expect the Sentinels to shine a little more.
Yeah, certainly, especially just the way they were kind of spread out, playing their own game really. Each site, one would be pushed. That's their moment kind of thing. I think they were certainly set up to play their best role. It's just kind of unfortunate that Redline played the way they did. A lot more around their KO util, and just a lot easier that way.
The KO utility really shut them down, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can sign out if you want.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. We will let the players kind of recuperate, get ready for their next game, and we will
Yeah, I believe it's
resume in a moment.
Is it Haven that we're playing?
I do believe it. The next map.
Oh
is
no, it's
Haven.
Lotus. It's
No,
Lotus.
no. Next map is Haven, I believe.
Oh, that's.
Yes, next map is Haven.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh wait, is it?
That's what
Okay,
I'm saying.
doesn't matter. Okay.
Extreme
yeah.
gaslight. It's
It's
Lotus.
gaslighting! Ah!
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just head to a break.
Yeah. So we just came back from a 3-minute break here. We're going to be going on to Lotus with T3G on attack and Redline on defense. So with Redline's calm and coordinated gameplay versus T3G's quite chaotic and, spontaneous gameplay, it's going to be pretty hard to see who's going to close out on Lotus here.
Now with Redline up like a map advantage, I think they kind of have like I know that they are particularly pretty good at this map. I think T3G should have somewhat of a difficult time trying to stop them from aggressing, because I know they're relatively aggressive even on the defending side. With this map
Yeah.
advantage they have coming out of Ascent, they definitely do have a little bit more of the momentum, even after that kind of longer overtime that ended up being the result.
Yeah, we'll see if... Sorry? Okay, cool. So it looks like we're going to start in about 5 seconds here. Let's see if Tolkien is back onto that Cyber and Viceroy with the Vise. Because on Lotus, those two roles are pretty big, so they might be able to be in that final spotlight that they missed before. It looks like Tolkien he is actually selecting the Vise with Viceroy. So it's gonna be
Tolkien versus Viceroy.
yeah, it's gonna be Tolkien v Viceroy.
We're also gonna have Tay on the Neon and Natural also on that Neon.
Yeah, and we have a Fade and Omen, pretty default compy with Raze. And it looks like
And
Gamble Nuts and
Crawlers
Dan.
on the Omen is not a very usual thing. I'm pretty sure his comfort agent is that initiator we got to see on the sensor.
Yeah, so I'm pretty surprised, but Omen is pretty crucial for a Lotus,
Yes.
a Lotus comp anyway. So he might have just been defaulted.
Sorry,
or
means you
filled
must be a
in.
little bit more confident for this map.
Yeah.
I think
Gamble Nuts is considering a Yoru play here, and Dan
would
on
not
the
hate to see that.
stage. Would not hate to see that. That would be pretty interesting. Having Gamble Nuts take a pretty passive play on Ascent with the op. So having him in the front lines could be his moment to shine. Never mind, he picks Raze, and that'll still give him an opportunity. It looks like he's having a little trouble picking who he wants to play here.
Dan does seem to be kind of stuck on that Sage.
Oh, nope. It's a last
And then
minute
last
pick
moment
here.
we'll have Gamble Nuts on that Raze, which is something I don't
Yeah,
think we've
so
seen
we
this
have
tournament.
we have a same comp. So we have that Vise, Fade, Neon, Raze, and Omen.
We do too.
So, in a matter of speaking, this is a really interesting turnout. This is probably just going to be an aim or a playstyle battle here.
I believe that both of these teams have kind of lent further towards aggression towards this kind of defaultish A site, where everything kind of ends up getting down towards A.
Yeah,
Most of the time,
yeah.
gets towards A.
I'm really excited to see the Neon and Raze on attack, having a Natural and Gamble Nats.
And look, we have 4 members of this Redline team, sorry, Team 3 Grace's team, and Redline, sorry, both of them. 4 versus 4 happening in A main. I believe Team Redline have the advantage here, simply because they have that more space, and the Neon Stun angle is right there.
Yeah, it looks
Gotta
like
go.
they're gonna be battling for A here.
Gotta go. Sock it.
Natural is able to beat the timing on that Neon Stun, and so is G. G will be caught
Spike
out
down
though,
A.
and in a matter of seconds, it's now a
Take it out.
4v2.
Yeah,
Tay is one shot
One
though.
enemy remaining.
Crawlers will backstab onto Natural. Viceroy, that lurk up into B heaven. Tolkien might have been aware, but has run past. Viceroy heard Tolkien run away. She's going to have to make the assumption that all 3 of them are holding the bomb. Tolkien is kind of looking back. Tay, 1 HP, just taken out. Crawlers
Yeah.
drops off of rubble.
Blinding prepped. Blinding.
Good hit.
And Tolkien, they might look for a double swing. The Arcros does not make a hit, but Crawlers will win the aim duel and finish the round.
Yeah, Crawl is that. I mean, that team play from Redline was just amazing. Having that raise nade, the C's was just a great combo as well. Having that dark cover to also make space.
I think
for
it
the
was
enemy.
very well played by them, knowing that the Omen Shroud Step and the Neon High Gear can beat the timing of all their util. Just being aware that they could already be up past the rubble kind of choke.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, it looks
Looking here,
like
it's gonna be another clash for A root.
yeah, having
Are they aware of naturally Shorty though? Paranoia will scout him out. Two quick kills for Tay, Gamelnats and Natural. Those are their two duelists. Oh, down and out for this round. Kind of
Yeah,
splitting off here. We have two towards B, and Bowlers gets one. Is he able to get out?
Oh.
He doesn't, but he does get good damage onto Dan here. And it looks like G is going to try and leg it towards Mount for that ult point.
yeah, they're trying to fight for that control on B to get that deciding factor.
Looks like they want to try and re-pinch into the site.
Ooh, we have that.
G possibly bought that, must have bought that Ares.
Yeah, we have that cross angle from Dan and G too.
Falcon is in a good spot here. That Omen Charge Step kind of gets him.
Yeah, just misses Tolkien.
Just like that. This is anyone's game. But both members of Team 3 Graces here are very low. And we're
Oh,
aware. It's a nice 4K from him.
yeah.
I'm out of here.
I mean, Tay's high gear was just... That movement was just too much for TTG to handle. I mean, it looks like Tay is going to be a little bit of the spotlight here, going 6-1 in 2 rounds.
Yeah, wow.
However, yeah.
There.
However, it is too soon to speak, so we'll see if TTG is able to take the 3rd round here.
It seems to be switching up for side TTG.
Yeah, I
Going
mean, it
towards
does-
C.
Yeah, it does look like TTG does have the economy advantage. So Redline will have to be very considerate.
He's very aware of the possibility that he's going to get run down. Natural is going to take him out, dropping 0 damage on him. He will get up towards Bomb Dolphin. Ooh, I'm not sure what's happened there.
Spike planted.
Bomb Dolphin will take him out
Yeah,
very
looks like-
easily. Crawlers with 2 big kills.
Like, going in for that retake.
very good. This is now insanely in the way of Redline here. G finding the diffuser and has to reload. I don't think he can get this.
No, I believe in him. Nope.
Finish him.
Yeah, it was so close.
Completing
Bomb
the
Dolphin.
first conversion is
Yeah.
very big.
Bomb Dolphin was just there to back up Tay in that defuse. It does look like T3G are taking a little bit of a backpedal on
force.
their aggressive
I'm out of here.
game style on Lotus here.
I'm
I'm
out
not
of here.
sure what happened between Natural and Bomb Dolphin there.
Gotta go.
Besides
I think
T3G, they don't seem to be
Go, go, go.
particularly full saving. They really want
Yeah.
a fighting chance this round. And of course, we see G on that Ares
Shock it.
signature it is.
Here
We
we
have
go.
that
And
mutual
a
jump.
from Tay here. We'll find 2, maybe
There.
more.
Go, go.
He finds 2 and the controller Rebel. Gamblenat's caught with a knife out. Viceroy able to find Krellas, but how many more can he find?
Yeah, honestly, that utility dump was so real. They just got grenaded into basically another dimension there. So
Yeah.
he just didn't have a chance. That combo was devastating.
And Tay with a 3K will finish off Viceroy.
Yeah,
Tay
it was
is 9-1. Krellas is a little bit behind with 8-3. Putting up some very nice individual performances here.
yeah. I mean, like we're not just looking at amazing gunplay here. It's like a symphony of utility. Like here
And
we
now
can
we
see.
see it.
Yeah,
Natural is buying an AWP. I don't know how he's gonna play this kind of confined A main space on that Neon.
yeah. Here we can see
He
why.
might cross.
Yeah, why Redline is a full team. You can just tell their team plays
I'm out of here.
and their synergy is just
Now they're
that's
aware of the
different.
AWP, and Natural didn't tag anybody with that AWP.
Yeah, but they are aware he does have an up now, so might change the course of the game.
They do go towards this B site. The bomb is on site, and then we get the plant down. No, not if Carlos has anything to say about it.
B.
Natural gets him through the smoke. 3v4 at this moment.
Yeah, it's just like
Last
natural.
player standing.
Natural and its natural habitat with the AWP.
Just unable to find any more. It was a good attempt from Tolkien, but first round on the board now for the side of Team 3 Graces.
Yeah.
I don't think they were unable
No,
to
they didn't
succeed.
get the AWP
They could
again.
not get that AWP.
Yeah, which is probably very devastating onto T3G's economy here. Natural does seem, ironically, very natural on the operator, so being back on the Vandal, do you
Natural
think
seems
you're gonna be
okay
able
to
yeah, do you
force
think-
this round, just knowing he has that overdrive in
Yeah.
his pocket.
and knock down Redline's economy a little more to get that step to start winning?
Flash placed.
Also,
Flash trap
now
destroyed.
we see Bomb Dolphin and Tolkien, one off of their ults, game-changing ults, which can heavily influence how this can turn around.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like T3G
You
is
see the fatal from
rushing
Dan.
C here.
You see the Nightfall from Dan will come out, and then we just have Gamble Nats and G
Spike planted.
run that straight out.
Yeah, I mean, Redline is
Gamble Nats
just,
swings into Crawlers and gets the pick.
yeah, Redline is forced to back up, you know,
That's
and
the space.
yeah, to just let T3G
Ultimate's ready.
Gamble Nats
dominate the side.
run straight.
We have Steel Garden here.
Actually goes for the ult.
Last player standing.
No, we have Overdrive and Steel Garden. Tolkien,
1v3 for Tolkien at 16 HP. He's going to have to save this.
yeah, I mean, it
I'm not
wasn't
sure about Steel
interesting.
Garden.
Placed.
It wasn't interesting for him to use that
Retrieving
that
flash.
round
Dan, though.
turning ult there.
Thorns activated.
Unsure as to why the use of the Steel Garden was actually decided on there.
Yeah, perhaps it was to bait out that Overdrive from Natural.
I don't believe the overdrive is worth the same as
I
Steel
don't
Garden
think
though.
so either, but you know,
Then you see Natural's economy, he has plenty for this round.
yeah, and
Now we
Redline here having to just resort to that
Lighting
Sheriff, two Sheriffs now, and a Guardian, two Guardians.
Hero Rifle inside Tolkien has quite a handsome bit of money left over for that next round too. Seems to be heavy A-roll with like aggression.
Yeah, it looks like once again they're trying to just flood the side and have Redline take that back pedal. Have to see for
Spike
Mizzy,
down
yeah,
A.
having to deal with the flood and gets taken out.
There. Spike planted.
This is now 3v3. The guns are not that big of a disadvantage. Bomb Dolphin finds one,
Enemy remaining.
finds the other. Natural whiffs pretty badly. We'll still find Bomb Dolphin. We'll find the other two.
remaining.
We'll find one before
Yeah.
Carlos will get that trade out. 5-2 now.
Yeah, Natural does slide into the box, which was quite unfortunate for him.
The spike is
Probably stopping
defused.
that momentum to get that kill, having to fix his aim.
That's a big round.
Yeah, it
To kind of
is.
stop any momentum held by this Team 3 Graces team.
Here.
And now, yeah, Carlos, nice aim to kind of get onto that neon. Seems like
Yeah.
they're gonna have another. It's a 3v4 fight from Rebel here. Just without that fade now.
Right.
Opted to have him be.
Look like T3G's playing that flood once again with Viceroy Fiber on alert this
Actual
time.
twice with this K off the side. Dan will also get Carlos who TP'd up. Bomb Dolphin is unspotted yet, but Gamonats will find him. Now they're all running off to C. This is a fake. This Vice will give it away. Okay, we'll take G will take 2 ticks on that these vice binds. Already, Tolkien finds 2. Now, there's one up bend. Is he aware? He is now. And now aware. All 3 on site. Tolkien unable to land the shot.
with that Nightfall and Showstopper to sort of
One enemy remaining.
counter it, Dolphin comes out with his own Showstopper.
Absolutely amazing showing from
This is
both
where
Bomb
someone
Dolphin
says something
and
pithy
Tolkien.
and we pretend to
Especially from
tolerate
Tolkien, they're able to anchor down their
Go
site
ahead.
very well. From
I'll
all
wait.
three of them pushing into him.
Launching
Yeah,
points.
it looks like T3G might have to come up with a different idea instead of flooding the site every time, because it looks like Redline is getting the hang of
Now we wait.
retaking that site, using their utility and ults to sort of
Launching
flush
thorn.
them back out and getting that fuse off.
Too
I wouldn't
obvious.
hate to see a timeout taken from Team 3 Graces here, because what they're doing right now is not working. Alright, they're now 5-man going through B. Natural inserting himself into this waterfall angle. Colors finds.
Ooh, it's getting up to 2 here.
They're unaware of Natural's position in waterfall. Tolkien
Last player
able to
standing.
scatter him out. Gavin has left with that Bucky in lane. They know where he is.
Yeah, GambleNats doesn't sort of having a very vital moment there of either revealing that he has a Bucky or just taking that death, and it looks like he chose the latter.
And now we're at a very, very big moment for this game. If Redline win this round, it's essentially game over.
Yeah, I mean, we have From the Shadows Steel Garden on both teams with Natural on the overdrive though, so we might see a little bit of a chaotic round here.
If Team 3 Graces aren't able to convert this round into a win, then it's looking very grim on their chances. Tay swings out a little too wide, and GambleNats catches them. Natural with the overdrive.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh,
They seem to
Yeah.
have mowed them down. This is now
Health
1v4
low
for
firing
Tolkien.
squad.
This is very doable. Tolkien, we know he's been doing very well.
Yeah, Natural gets a
Spike
little
planted.
bit of damage done. Onto
Are they
them.
aware of Viceroy and the lurk through Waterfall? That could be devastating for them.
It could be. It doesn't look
And
like. Oh, he. Oh, Dan with the
Still
flame.
waiting. I'll find you.
That's a devastating
Station is for
round
amateurs.
for
Let's go.
Redline.
That is a big round for Team 3 Graces to win.
Yeah.
The economy is in an okay spot for now.
Yeah, if Redline closed that out, it was pretty confirmed that we were probably going to say goodbye to T3G today.
T3G have a very strong team with those, at least with GambleNats, Dan, and Natural. Very strong forces on their own.
Yeah.
But you see that they don't work well with other people's util. Bomb Dolphin just sniping down that Natural there mid-slide, revealing that op.
We'll see
Big
if
numbers
Dan
advantage.
here uses his Nightfall.
Bomb Dolphin swings again.
Ooh,
He's doing
not
wonders
looking
with
too
this
good.
elo cannon.
One enemy remaining.
He's just so aware of where G could be. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
does miss the shot.
It is not looking good for G.
Before falling,
Yeah.
8-3.
I mean, both teams
Last
are
round
pretty
before the
stacked
switch.
with ults here. You know, having that Steel Garden on both sides could, you know, turn the tables just depending on if Dan might want to use his Nightfall or maybe
But
Tay
you
using his
see,
Overdrive.
beside Team 3 Graces, GambleNats can't buy a gun really.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to underestimate GambleNats. I mean, we've
Of course
seen
not.
the Bulldogs
do some good
last
stuff.
match. So he could pull a miracle here.
This is a good read though. They're fighting for this C lobby space, which is exactly where this Team 3 Graces team is. They've revealed that
Yeah,
this
we have a
project
lot
is
of
here now.
ults here. We have that Nightfall pop and that Overdrive.
the overdrive will expire before it can get used, but it does seem that they're going to leave.
Thorns are alive.
Team 3
It does
Graces
seem
will opt for a rotate.
Yeah, C-Man was a little bit of a stalemate there, having two ults counter each other.
Tacky and Natural are relatively low,
Yeah, but it
and
looks like
Viceroy took a small bit of chip damage.
Yeah, looks like Soramizu and Tolkien here. You have the early rotate, but the Steel Garden does come out.
Somizu
Spike
is
planted.
taken by that Steel Garden. Doesn't have a gun for one moment.
Thorns are alive.
Yeah, it looks like Deep's
Where
back
are
with the
There's
Odin.
no real impactful ults here at the moment to either side.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna have to walk into Deep's Odin here. And it takes it out
That's
anyway.
3 alive.
Yeah, what
Very
a
dominant showing.
disrespect. That disrespect was crazy. And then Token picked up the op as well. Well, I guess it doesn't
And
matter
now
because it is an extra.
9-3 off.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. I mean, we've all heard of the 9-3 curse.
Switching sides.
So perhaps it
true
is
will
a
it be?
sign that T3G might take it back.
I can't imagine a world where they do. I don't.
Yeah.
I think Redline have just been the better team so far.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, T3G haven't really been able to adapt to Redline's composed gameplay and teamwork and synergy here. I mean, obviously, as a proper team with no subs at the moment, Redline is going to have that advantage of knowing how each other play, you know, and working together. So T3G is going to have to pull some miracle to get this back, you know.
We are going to have a tech pause yet again.
Yeah, it does look like we're going to have to roll back the round, though, however. 'cause-
It doesn't seem so.
Yeah, there
Never
you
mind,
go.
we are going to get a round rollback.
So it looks like Natural once again DC. The 30-minute timer has been up. There is a stop in momentum here. So, as we saw in Ascent, Redline did take it back from a tech pause. So maybe T3G would be able to
Now
use
we
this
wait.
and use their advantage to maybe think of some plays here to counter Redline.
Yeah, I think the way that Redline have been playing is a lot more kind of, how do I explain it? They've played a lot more aggressively, but then when it comes to sites where they haven't been able to aggress, like they just have gone to a different site to where they've been fighting, they've known to, if they're able to get one, then they try for one, and then they play for it as a team. They retake together. That's what they're good at. They have good synergy. They can play things well together.
Yeah, it's quite amazing to see how just experience as a team together can make a difference. So it does look like we're gonna have Viceroy and Gamelnat set up on C, or we have Viceroy going on to B. I mean, Gamelnat is probably gonna fight this C mound here to take that control. So it'll be a bit hard to, you know, see what Redline will do to get that control, especially with this Viceroy on her comfort pick.
Well, this tech pause may take a second, so I do think that we are going to step back and probably give it a moment for everyone to kind of be ready.
Yeah,
We'll
mean-
get back to you guys in just a moment.
yeah, we'll let you guys enjoy the cinematics of the map.
Jeez. Welcome back. We're back from this tech pause. Everyone seems to be ready. We'll get started in just a moment. And yeah, we get the second half underway after a very dominant showing from the Redline. We are going to go in with high expectations for Redline,
Yeah, I
as
mean, I
they
would.
do have triple their Team 3 Graces rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is gonna be pretty interesting half, seeing as both teams do have the exact same agent comp. So we'll see the difference between T3G and Redline's, attack and defense.
Yeah, you mentioned like similar, like exact same comps. I think this is the half where we can truly compare who is kind of, agent diffing and who just has, the better scoreline, all of,
Yeah,
get to kind of tell who is better.
yeah, it looks like Redline is going to do the same exact thing as T3G, having a little bit of a flush here.
And a first pick coming from Tolkien off
Yeah,
of Dan, looking a little bit unknowing. They're gonna shift from C all the way to A, where it's only going to be G sitting in stairs, a little bit on his own. There'll be a triple flank, it seems, going to, or no, probably just duo.
oh
They
my
will
god.
get scouted out by the Vice Wall though. Ignoring it, it'll just be natural. Gamble Nats will satchel over the wall. They are aware of at least a flanker, but 3 that are they expecting it?
What about the
I'm gonna bet no.
eye? That haunt
Actually, we'll
is
find
going
one
to
to
haunt
bond off
them.
them. And 2 C's will seriously cut their time. Crawlers will find 1. Will Natural be able to find the trade? 1v4 for Natural. Crawlers and Mizu are very, very low. So if he's able to find those 2, it's pretty good. But these flying colors will find Tay
Ooh.
for falling to Tolkien.
Yes, so
10-3.
yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Redline had who Fade, Raze, and Neon up on C Mound, trying to fight for that orb there and trying to get a little bit of a prod. But we saw Crawlers and Tolkien sort of lurking and getting more information. And as soon as Crawlers got that pick, everyone rotated to just like pry open that opening that Crawlers made.
Stay focused.
And not to mention, Mizu's utility was just amazing there. Being able to
Where
use
are you?
Shear's Wall and, Prowler, Seas, and I.
Going into this round now, we see that there has been a force from Team 3 Graces. So, from most of the players, you see, Viceroy and Dan have opted to not buy though. You see a little bit of a throw off, Bomb Dolphin kind of ruins Mizu's cross that placement a little bit. Natural may get a free pick if he swings just now.
Dan is flanking here.
Catch out, caught up with Mito.
Tolkien is expecting this.
One enemy remaining.
Oh
Natural
my.
good work with this Marshall.
Yeah, wait, Tolkien had a perfect timing on that Arc Rose, catching Dan, out of surprise and just getting that kill.
Off that force, you see Gamble Nats and G not able to buy rifles.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like T3G didn't quite use that tech pause to their advantage here, losing 2 rounds to Redline, being 11-3 now. But it does look like they're gonna be flooding A with all 5 players here. However, T3G is just waiting for them, so we'll see who comes out on top.
And big trade as Natural gets Tolkien and Crawlers will trade back on to Natural. What about C's and
Oh my god!
G?
G going in with the Ares. We have seen G and his amazing Odin and Ares skill here, and that just amazingly highlighted it all.
Although they won that round, Natural and Nats, who
No
both
charges.
ended up dying that round, are not the best on their econ right now. That's, again, has to buy that Guardian and Light Shields.
Yeah.
Because the entire Redline squad can buy rifles and at least light shields.
Yeah, I mean that could have been a morale turning point though to T3G getting that
Certainly.
amazing 3K.
Now, there's 3 members of Redline running into a 4 stack in mounds.
Looks like Crawl is trying
Crawler's
to get
is
that opening
locked
once
up.
more.
He
Ooh,
might
they're-
just be looking for this orb. They're
Yeah,
all rotated off.
Yeah,
off
but
that
it looks
mound.
like Redline doesn't quite see that. And they don't know
And
that C
Natural,
is completely
Natural's on
open.
site. Crawler's
Crawl is in
couldn't
their
have a
spawn.
good timing.
Oh,
Wait, I don't think Dan saw
wait,
Crawler's.
Dan! Oh my god, Crawl is...
Good timing.
That
One
was...
for one.
That was
1 for 1 is big.
amazing timing though.
Now they're executing onto C, onto an open, free site, but they do not have those smokes as Crawlers did fall to down.
Yeah.
Spike planted.
I mean, Dan here has
Sorry, is
all of his
investing an orb
utility.
to this round.
Last player standing.
Doesn't seem likely that it'll close it out, as no, it will go to
Yeah.
11 to 5. 4 members of Team 3 Graces will live.
That's an exact example of what a single millisecond can cause the whole round to turn, you know? We had Crawlers with a crucial flank, but Dan just catches, you know,
And it looks like
Crawlers with his pants down.
Soramizu will opt to timeout early into the half to try and just stop any bleeding that there could be. Because they do need to close this out as early as possible.
Yeah.
They don't want to give them rounds to
Yeah.
try and get back into this game.
They're probably trying to stop that momentum from getting those past 2 rounds here. I mean, I just can't get over it. I mean, that Crawler's flank was devastating. Just a millisecond to keep looking at B site would have probably earned them that round. But it does look like Viceroy is just having a bad day today. Not quite being able to show their true skills. Like we've seen in previous games, Viceroy can be a menacing Vice. But it does look like instead of the usual A utility flood, they're stacking up on C here. However, Redline is all up on B.
Crawlers may be trying to get a little bit of something out of A.
Yeah,
They're hearing
TP
all the
is in
use
trouble
at
here.
C. They hear an arc rose for B, which would lead to the smoke. And Crawlers smokes off. Naps. Naps will just walk through that smoke though, falling to Tolkien. G finds 2 before being traded
Oh.
to Crawlers. Viceroy will get the trade onto Crawlers.
Yeah, I think if Bomb Dolphin...
Tolkien 6 HP right here.
Last player standing.
Fall to Viceroy. And
Yeah,
then
I think if Bomb
7.
Dolphin, yeah, got that kill on G a little earlier, G wouldn't have been able to get those 2 kills on Redline. But the Stinger does have a pretty insane recoil, so honestly, I'm not too mad.
Now we wait.
Launching
It does look like
Retrieving thorns.
Redline
Launching
really
thorns.
losing their ground here. They're climbing so high. Looks like they're falling under.
Natural caught out. Left on only 30, only about 30 HP.
Go, go, go!
Amonats
Satchel up.
has been seen.
Yeah,
Bit of a
Redline
rocky
is
satchel. Caught out in the open by 3. That's good information though.
yeah.
As G now is left against 3. Sorry.
That was the opening that Redline was looking for. As you see, we're rushing
Gee.
in and G.
Like Crest
Yeah.
helped them out. Now they might be thinking about a save here, which No, it looks like they are gonna
One
go for it.
enemy
Natural
remaining.
one.
Oh,
Was,
I mean, that's the round that Redline was looking for. Again, Kroll is
Match
with
point.
that kill, just that flick of the switch was able to allow Redline to just flood the site. Gee, I mean, 1v4 isn't quite an easy battle to win. And yeah, I guess that snowballed into them winning the fight here. So we are on match point. So I am a little excited to see how T3G is going to switch up their playstyle here to hopefully regain their balance.
Adapt or die!
We have the Steel Garden coming out. We have Bombed Open with the Showstopper. Viceroy
To stay on site instead of
Yeah.
retreating into heaven.
goes
Bit of a
down.
Spike planted.
And Tolkien will find natural as well. This is now 5v3. They
Yeah, it's not looking good for
down,
T3G.
get one. Will fall to tame.
One enemy remaining.
Bombed Open.
And there
Not-
is
Yeah,
Attackers
this
win.
Redline 2-0. Team
Yeah.
3 is eliminated from the tournament.
yeah. I mean that one round decided who was going to pass on to the next bracket. So it is sad to say that we are saying bye to T3G today.
Going into this game, we kind of knew that Redline were probably a little bit more favored, just simply because they were a little bit more prepared, and they kind of knew what they were doing. We knew they were a bit more, a bit stronger when it came to actually playing like Lotus, for example. They were much stronger for Lotus. They were very strong throughout this tournament. Yeah, it was, but I feel like Team 3 Graces with I think it was 3 subs they had in the end, had an amazing showing for how rough their circumstances may have been.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as, you know, they just got together as a team, you know, having 2 subs isn't easy. But they did put in a very good fight, especially Natural here, going 17-18, I believe. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like the real MVP of the series was definitely Crawlers.
oh, for
'Cause
sure.
U2 was on point and he fragged out both
Yeah.
series.
A
I
lot of
think
the
he played
times,
probably his best.
yeah, a lot of the times we see in a lot of tournaments and games that the duelists are always the ones in the light, you know, being praised, but
Certainly.
yeah, it's rare to see a controller, especially an Omen, to have so much value in a game.
Yeah.
Cole is just amazing here, and we are going to be getting a couple of the players, if not all, to come into this call exactly just on time to have
Let's get an
interviews
interview.
here. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, congrats, guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Redline finally didn't go to 3 maps. Finally.
All we're freaking happy
Yes.
about.
Yeah, well
Like,
done.
Hoping
guys.
yeah.
so too.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of questions for you guys. How does it feel to come out on top after such a tough tournament here? Or a
I
game,
mean,
sorry.
I mean,
It's been stressful.
We've had so many maps go to 3. I think we played the most maps out of the people, apart from obviously our good friends Natural and Gamble Nats, just playing in almost every game. I can't imagine. How they do
Yeah,
it, but I think that brings us to what, 13 maps, boys? 13 maps now.
Something
We
like
just
that.
didn't want
Something
3
like
maps.
13.
That's the only reason we won that. We just didn't want to go to a 3rd map.
We were so determined. We're like, not again.
Yeah,
Not
no, we
again.
saw it. We saw it in your guys' play style, you know? I mean, like, was there a moment that you guys knew you guys had it in the bag in both games?
I think, at least for me, and I'm sure my guys would agree, is being able to win out that that OT on Ascent. I mean, we
yeah.
played Ascent a lot. We're quite comfortable on Ascent, but I don't think we've won Ascent once in this tournament. And just being able to take that and being comfortable, and especially for me, being able to frag out as KO, which typically I haven't done too well on that map, just feeling really comfortable. And I guess that snowballed, as well as us being on Lotus for the second map. We're so comfortable on Lotus. I'm sure I can talk
Yeah.
to all of my guys just We love that map. We
Yeah, I
love
mean, like we
abusing
saw, you know,
the
your
comp.
your team synergy was just absolutely through the roof there. Like we could see that Redline is truly a team. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I
Playing
think
together,
off the
playing
back
together.
of
Yeah.
off the back of not playing on this tournament for 3 weeks as well, after losing both Prem games tonight,
Yeah.
we definitely needed those victories to bring us back to the OG Redline, I
Yeah.
suppose.
I have a question for Bomb Dolphin. How was it like? How did you react to G's attempt to knife you, and it didn't quite go as well as they wanted?
And I was fully locked in. I heard the drop behind me. I turned and I knew where the server was. So I got lucky on them whiffing me, honestly.
Yeah, it was quite a sight to see.
So now, Krollis, you mentioned before you fragged out on the KO on Ascent. You ended up, I believe you ended up team MVP in that game, and then you match MVP that Lotus game. We were talking about it. We like undisputedly, you're probably
The
tonight's
MVP.
MVP.
Yeah.
How do you think you played over? Like, how do you think you played?
I mean, as much as I was fragging out and getting some pretty good kills, I can't lie, most of them weren't exactly like I suppose they weren't exactly gun diffs. Most of my kills
Yeah.
were based on the guys just, and again, this is where our team shines, is those guys made all the noise they needed to, and they gave me the opportunity to catch people
Yeah.
unaware, and it just made it so easy for me to get those 3 frags, and those 3 frags spiraled into 3 sites, and again, I think that's what we're playing towards,
Yeah.
and my guys listened to me very well, and again, sure, I got the most kills here, but I think the real stars are my team. They made it so possible for me.
Oh,
And
for
again,
sure.
if
Yeah.
you look at any of these kills, I barely won out a proper 1v1, right? Like, all the
Yeah.
credit to the
Yeah.
enemy team, T3G. If it came down to a 1v1, they probably outshot me. Natural gamble nuts, crazy players, they probably killed me.
Yeah,
most of
y'all
the
crazy players. Yeah.
it
I
came down
mean,
to outplaying and just taking control of that information, and that was something that I made sure to do, is just make them think that we're going the wrong way. I mean, you can see it on Ascent, the amount of
Yeah.
fakes I tried to throw towards B main, and it just worked for us. We managed to get some free picks and take different sides or hold control of mid, and yeah, my team is
Yeah.
a real star there. They made that possible for me, and
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want
it
to
was
make sure that's very
beautiful.
clear.
Yeah. Seeing like on Lotus, you were able to lurk up onto A so many times, getting a frag and just letting your team be able to rip through that tear you created in their defense.
Absolutely, and that's the power of Omen. I mean, since the buff where his TPs are basically, you can't hear them unless you're right next to the Omen when you're TPing, makes it so difficult to clear those angles. And if you commit utility, I can just TP back out, and now you're holding someone who's not there. And I think we abused that really well and held every angle so perfectly there. And again, just people like Tolkien, you know, my Vise main here, my Sentinel main, being able to lurk up the main and get those trades off that utility, just perfect show from my guys, honestly. Like, I could not be more proud of my team today, and I'm sure they probably wouldn't glaze me as much, but they made every kill I got possible.
Yeah,
And
it
honestly, if it
was.
wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a single kill on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was like amazing to see a team with so much synergy. Like the difference between T3G and you guys was just night and day. So I do have a question. Who on the team kept everyone grounded like during tough rounds?
I'll let the team answer that, because I am definitely the IGL of the team, but I have a habit of yelling at my guys. I think they have a better job of keeping everyone bound together and keeping that hype up. I just sort of yell at the guys when things go wrong and hope for the best that they manage to fix it. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it
that'll
seems like
definitely
it
be
worked.
directed at the team. Yeah.
Who do you guys think is the main person that kept us together there? I'd argue Tolkien. He brought us together. He made some good calls when I was faltering as an IGL. So, yeah, the rest of the team. What do you guys think? Was it me or was it Tolkien there?
Nah, you're useless. It was definitely for sure. You ruined the mental. I feel
Oh my
like
god.
all of us, we know what we're doing, and we're just like zone out crawlers, and everyone else cooks themselves. Yeah, we don't. We try.
Low-key, as a team, we give our IGL a lot of shit. Crawlers, we like to make fun of him, but he made all the right calls today. He went insane. I agree with the MVP call. for crawlers. He absolutely made the right calls, and as a team, we just kept the momentum up. We were yelling and screaming in VC. We were hyped to get the wins. So
Yeah, I mean, it
I'm
really
proud of all of
didn't
us.
show of the chaos. I mean, you guys looked so calm, collected on the outside. I'm surprised to hear
It,
your
it wasn't
comms were
chaos. It
crazy.
was more hype. It was more
It's
hype.
Ah,
We
okay,
were.
okay.
It was less chaos. We were just all locked in and really hyping each other up. It was definitely a team effort, for sure.
Well, guys, congratulations on your win. Hope you guys do well in the 3-3 bracket. I do
Yeah,
believe that's all the time that we do have
yeah.
now.
I
That
mean,
yeah.
yeah. Any final words to T3G or your future opponents before you guys
Absolutely.
go?
T3G, you guys fought hard, and it was so much fun to fight against you guys. You know, a lot of those rounds could have gone either way, and we really appreciate you guys making it difficult for us. And yeah, it's unfortunate that you guys have been limited at this point, but it was a hard fought round, and you guys did well, and you should be proud of yourselves. And you know, in the future, we'll be fighting for both our team and your team, and hopefully, we'll make it to the playoffs and we can go from there. And to our future opponents, watch out. We're coming. We're getting better. Each loss is a lesson, and you know we're gonna take each loss to make us win harder. As you can see today, we did super well, and I'm looking forward to versing each person in the future. And yeah, GG's all around.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Good
Yeah,
job.
yeah, congratulations again. We also look forward to versing you as well.
Okay. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Bye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty perfect, like 2 games that we saw. I mean, we predicted from the beginning that Redline would win, and they did end up coming out on top. So it was
Very neck
amazing.
and
Yeah,
neck first game, and sort of quite a domination on that Lotus.
yeah,
But it was great seeing both teams.
yeah. We got insight into saying they were really, really not wanting to go onto that Haven and the decider round again. So, I mean, it really showed their motivation, their fight, their passion. But that doesn't go without saying that T3G didn't do an amazing job as well. Like,
Of
shout
course.
out to them as well. Like, they were amazing personally. Being in a situation like that with constant tech pauses and new
Substitutes
subs.
and
Yeah, it's hard, but they put up a
yeah.
really, really good fight.
That's all from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This was Cruise and Void. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah, thank
watching.
you.
Hope to see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.